I was picturing like this Indian chant. I could see them all dancing around, some fire in the desert. I had Jim coming in with his mystical dreams of Indians dancing and praying. And I had Kurt's voice, guiding, dictating where this track was sort of going.
Believe me when I say, believe me when I say, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace, it's just me, Bellissi.
Hello and welcome to the new episode of Now. I'm Bellissi, I'm an independent artist, a music producer and writer. And on this episode, I want to take you behind the music once again and through the song Skin. And I want to talk about the process of writing it and mixing the track and also the music video that was shot for it. Now, when you first hear the track Skin, I'm sure that Nirvana doesn't immediately spring to mind. But I take my inspiration from, wherever I can get it, really. It could be thoughts in my head like I talked about on the last episode, or it could be movies that I've watched or people that I've met or in this case, the music that I'm listening to. And I've always been a fan of Nirvana and in particularly Kurt, really. His songwriting was amazing. He was such a poet. And I was listening to the album Nevermind and in particular to a track called Something in the Way and just over and over again. And a couple of weeks later, when I was in the studio and I picked up the acoustic guitar and I come up with this sort of really eerie riff, really very, very melancholic riff. And I carried on with it and on with it and on with it. And I'll play it for you now. So you can hear it's very, very simple. And it's just, a few chords or so, but it's got that eeriness to it. It's almost speaking to you where the track is going to go. And almost immediately I began to sing along. The opening words was, "Am I good enough?" And I don't know where it come from, but that's what I just riffed sort of straight away. And so I knew it had to be recorded. So I quickly sort of composed the rest of this track. And like I've said before, it doesn't mean it's the end result, but I just wanted something down. So I recorded the guitars and whilst I was recording it, I had the Nirvana's Something in the Way going around my head. And I knew I wanted that similar vibe, I wanted that dark eeriness to it, And when I first recorded the guitar down, I was pretty happy with it just like that. And I was thinking that it could just be just a very, very basic acoustic track, just vocals and the acoustic guitar. But I wanted to lift it a little bit. So I added in the drums, just very, very simple drums and a few strings, a second guitar. But I wanted to keep it really simple, almost like a chant, In my mind, I was picturing like this Indian chant. I could see them all dancing around, some fire in the desert. I had Jim coming in with his mystical dreams of Indians dancing and praying. And I had Kurt's voice, guiding, dictating where this track was sort of going. I had the spirits guiding this tune really and this melody, and all I had to do really was sit back and just let the track write itself. I'll play the drums and what we had here. So you can hear the guitar coming in and then just a few simple hi-hats and then the kick and the snare. So I just wanted to keep it sort of just really, really simple. So once I had all that down, it was time to find the melody. I already had that opening line, "Am I good enough?" And sometimes when you hear a song back, just that simple composition, the words just write themselves. And they did in the case of Skin. I knew what it was about, and the instruments just sort of dictated its vibe and where I was going with it. Although at this stage I didn't have any chorus, it was just verses, And sometimes I do work well like that. It depends if I'm playing the guitar and I can feel where the bridge would come in or where a chorus would come in, then that's fine. But sometimes, and in the case of Skin, I just had the verses. That's all I had. So when I come to record and write it, I wrote the verses, and then you sort of feel where that chorus is going to lift, or indeed drop. So once I was starting to hum that melody and, find those initial lyrics, the first verse was pretty simple, and I'll play that for you now. I've got the mix here.
Am I good enough to live in your skin tonight? Am I brave enough to...
I think in essence, the song is about living up to life, this hard life, and asking the questions, am I tough enough for it? Is my skin good enough? Am I good enough for this life? One of my favorite lines from the track is, am I thin enough just to have one more bite? And this has nothing to do with weight. For me, it means taking, am I good enough and worthy enough to take an extra bite of life? Is it okay? Have I worked hard enough? Do I deserve this? When it did come to the chorus, I did just sort of automatically riff these lines, my blood I will taste, pulling the skin from my face. And the chorus, I guess, was about transcending, maybe even giving up, really, and living in the skin of the angels, transcending. But I also feel that there's a lot of hope in there, and it's almost a battle. There's the blood and the rage. This is my battle with life. But then the line comes, God will take it away. So I'll let you make your own mind on what you think that chorus is really about, and I'll play the chorus here now.
My blood I will taste.
So once I had all that, I could record it all down and get it ready to be mixed. And it was pretty much as simple as that. And if I'm truly honest with it, I think the mix could have been better. It was done a while ago. And like I've said before, we're always learning. I'm always learning. I'm becoming a better songwriter and certainly a better producer, that every day is a school day. So there are a few bits in the track that I think could be better. I would like to have seen the vocals just a little bit more up front and just sat a little bit better. But I'm still really, really proud of the track and the message that it gives and that skin, that battle, that shield. I'm really happy with it. The music video for Skin was something I had in my mind pretty much as soon as I started writing the track, really. And I'm really, really lucky, very blessed to live by the beach. We're only sort of 10 minutes or so from this great little harbour town of Berryport. And so it was an obvious choice to shoot down there. And it's fantastic. You can go down there and you can be the only one on the beach, on most days. So it was perfect for shooting, especially me wandering up and down, singing or playing a guitar, people sat sunbathing probably wouldn't be too thrilled hearing that. Or maybe they would, I don't know. But anyway, on that day, there was no one there, which was absolutely perfect. And we shot the video in October, so it was already starting to get pretty chilly. But the sun was out, it was a nice dry day, but I knew that rain was coming in. So we only had one day to shoot. So I had to get everything done in that day. And I knew I wanted the finale of the video of me falling into the sea. And if I'd have had more time to think or plan it, I would have preferred it if it was off height. That's how I saw it in my head. It was, the end of the video is he's falling down into the ocean from a height, maybe in, slow motion or whatever. I thought that would look quite cool, but as it stood, I didn't have it. I didn't have any props. I had my guitar and that was it. So I just fell back into the ocean at the end. All the filming for the video was done on an iPhone XS. that's what I had at the time. And my wife, Catherine, did all the filming. And it was brilliant because she was walking backwards for a couple of hours, just constant. And she didn't miss a shot. It was really good. We worked well together on that day. The acoustic that I used in the video is my old Fender. And it was only cheap. And I bought it years and years ago. And I don't really play it much now. It is used mostly for a prop. And even being in the sea, it's fared really well. It plays and sounds just like it always did, which is not particularly good, but it does the job. And so I kept the video very simple, just walking along the shoreline, stripping down, stripping away life, down to skin. And then sure enough, at the end, falling into the ocean. And that was it, video done. And I remember when we did that last shot falling in the ocean. I mean, like I said, it was October, but I didn't expect it to be too cold. And so I knew I could only do it in one shot because I did have dry clothes, but nothing that would match. So once I go in, I had to do it and get it done. And so as soon as I fell in, fuck me, it was freezing. And luckily we got the shot because as soon as I fall in, I bolt up, and I have to show you the outtakes on it. And I bolt up, and as I do, I sort of pull or certainly damage an intercostal muscle. And it felt like I'd been shot, bloody agony. So I limped out of the ocean and then sort of collapsed in a heap on the beach. But we had the shot, which was important. And so then we moved up the beach a little bit, got dressed, had a smoke, and then just led on the beach for a few hours, and then later on reviewed the footage. And so that was it. A few days of editing and the video was done. Please go and have a watch of the video and a listen to Skin. And thank you for all the people, all of you that support not only just this track, but all of my artistic journey. It's really amazing. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the podcast and follow me on my socials. And of course, message me with how you've connected with the track. Thanks as always for joining me, and take care. I'll see you next time. God bless.
Believe me when I say, believe me when I say, believe me when I say, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace, not everyone likes peace. It's just me, Bellissi.